And hey, good everybody! Star Trek: The Original Series, Season 1, Episode 6, or Episode 4, depending on what order you go by. The Naked Time is over and has been since 1966, but we're just getting started here on Ted Trek Wednesdays here on Live Long and Podcast. I'm Dave Mader, coming at you with Star Trek TV and movie reviews. Joined with my dad, Ted Mader, for the namesake of this of these Ted Treks. How you doing tonight, Dad?
Good, doing good, thanks.
That's it. Doing better than last week. You've recovered from your shot.
Yeah.
You're double dosed.
All good. Double dosed.
All good. You
One
are
week away from, 1 week away from immunity.
You're no longer infected. You've got the serum that McCoy perfected.
Yes.
This you will. Yes.
The water.
Also,
it's water.
It's water. It's something in the chain. There's a chain molecule in the water. Also bringing it in, esteemed panelist Jody Simpson. How you doing tonight, Jody?
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
And we're Adam Woodward. We're expecting to make an appearance. Oh, and there is the suit, if you will, which is like, hey, maybe the headline at this hour. I don't think I've ever really watched this episode start to finish before. So reactions around the room. I don't know how many times you guys have both seen this before, but what was Dad? What was your reaction to the Naked Time?
Yeah, I've seen it a couple times before over the years. I guess those high-tech space suits those deep talk suits that they're wearing.
Yep. Yeah, those were some suits that they had, and Jody. What did you think about the Naked Time?
60s outfit. Yeah, it's they're fine. They did what they needed to do.
Well, yeah, the episode is one matter, and then the suits.
This suit's fine. It's they wanted to make it look slightly different than what a normal like radiation suit would look like or whatever. So
also bringing
some
in
sort of weird metal mesh. But
next panelist, Adam Woodward. Good evening, Adam. Good evening, Adam.
How are you? Sorry I'm late.
No worries. It's just got to get the feed going, get the introductions going. So
just means you have to watch Miri again. That's your punishment.
That's the sentence from the arbiter. We're here to talk about the Naked Time, Adam. A classic, I think. Even though I was just saying, I don't think I've really ever watched this start to finish. Although I'm familiar with it, and I've seen the Naked Now, which is the sequel in the Next Generation.
Just as bad.
Yeah. So,
season 1, right?
Might even be worse than this.
I thought that this was an incredibly well directed episode. I thought it had a lot of interesting drama, the lighting, the scenes. It was very different. These season 1 episodes, I think, they have such a different feel than especially season 3, but yeah, even a lot of the season 2 classics. It's a very different thing. A lot less score, a lot more stage acting. I don't know how they didn't punch Riley when they got into that engine room. I gotta tell you, that was something. But it was. I thought that this was, except maybe the Chapel stuff. I gotta say that the Nurse Chapel stuff wasn't necessarily my favorite stuff in this. But maybe the Kirk and the Yeoman Janice Rand, whatever that was.
Yeah, I think good about this episode is Sulu.
Sulu was great as the rape with the swashbuckler. I don't know why he was a French swashbuckler. I'm not sure. Richelieu. He was looking for Richelieu, and you will leave this bois bloodied, or with my blood on your swords, cowards. Yes. Well, hey. I thought it was a lot of fun, and then by the ending, they had to go get the hold engines going and everything else, and they can't change the laws of physics, but somehow they did. They came up with some drunk formula and they did it, and they ended up 3 days in the past. How'd that happen?
I don't know, but the fact that you literally went through the entire storyline in about 2 minutes lets you know exactly what this episode's about.
Well, they do drag it out. Yes, like in terms
They
of what
drag it out a
happened.
lot.
Yeah, there's really in terms of what happened, you can sum it up in a few minutes, but you spend a lot of time watching them. There's a lot of like there's a scene with Spock in the briefing room where after he's been infected with this drunk. What is it? Drunk? You're drunk. You're inebriated.
Essentially, yeah.
Right. I don't see too many drunk people act specifically like these people did. Not exactly. No, this was kind of like they were out of their minds, but too. It was like a psychotic.
They were definitely a little off.
It's kind of strange.
Yeah, like and said some bizarre things. But yeah, Spock, I thought his was actually the best because he had to like go and do this whole like scene where he's like got his emotions. And I was watching it with the closed captions, and if you actually like follow what's actually said, it's nonsensical. It's going all over the place. There's a lot of this. Even the scene between Kirk and Spock when they're both drunk later on. He's like, I love you, man. He's like, I love you too. And it's just like, this is episode 4 or 6, like depending.
It's 5 on Netflix.
5. There you go.
But I think Netflix counts the first 2 as one episode.
Right.
The ship was going to burn up in 4 minutes, and neither of them seemed really that concerned about it.
Yeah. Just from like a whole pandemic theme or topical nature, there was a lot of the whole thing about infection here. This whole opening scene here on Psi 2000 is the name of the planet that's going to be disintegrating in a matter of days. They get there, they figure out everyone's dead, but they were like doing bizarre things. There was a guy who died in the shower with his clothes on. But then this guy that was with Spock to start the mission, he goes down to the planet, right? The guy that we had on earlier here with the suit, and then he was there's Spock also with the suit.
And then he takes his glove off.
He takes his glove off.
Can I stop you there for 1 second?
Yes.
Remember what I said last week about costuming in this show?
Yes. It's never good on the men.
Oh, here we go again on the men. Like, this is dumb.
Well, yeah, it seemed like, it would look like a beekeeper outfit that's been painted orange, and it doesn't look like it's meant for Arctic conditions by any means.
I'm not nearly as hard on this as you guys are. This is 60s. They wanted something that looked a little different than a normal like contamination suit. That's what they did.
Why was he able to take his glove off so easily, though?
But why would
that is a very good point.
They could reach right under their hood too, and right into the faceplate. Like, I mean,
the face.
But that could have been like a force field for all we know.
Oh, okay.
There's got to be a little bit of imagination there.
I don't think we've ever seen the crew of the Enterprise beam down with hazmat suits on. Like, what?
No.
They should have maybe told us why or introduced that. I don't know.
The other thing that was different when they beamed back up, they had to go through a decontamination, which they don't normally do.
I like the Enterprise decontamination process better.
Where they have to rub each other down in a sweaty sauna.
Yeah,
the gel in the sauna makes for better video. That's for sure.
Maybe I'll start watching that show.
Oh yes,
They tried to.
I think that's literally like the first episode or the second episode.
It's the pilot, yeah. And then it was because he gets infected here. He does everything wrong. Like, he pulls his glove off, he touches his nose, then he does it again. This is before he gets infected. Then he has to touch something.
Like, here's the problem with this episode: is the beginning and the end. The middle was okay, but like this scene didn't set it up well enough. Like, we heard about the horrific men showering in this, and with his clothes on and all this. Like, I would have liked to see that. We saw a mannequin frozen on the ground.
Oh, do you know what Kirk says in that scene about the guy who died with his clothes on? He said the image would be horrible if it wasn't laughable or something. Or I think I gotta find that. And a fully clothed man frozen to death in a shower. If the image wasn't so ugly, it would be laughable. Not even a theory, gentlemen. And
Yeah,
and
I
no.
hold my briefing so I can get briefed. Damn it, that was funny too.
This whole
Yeah, I think-
episode sucks. Like, just sucks.
I was not having a bad time with it. I thought it was fine. I thought that then like you saw how the original guy Joe, good old Joe. Hey Joe, what do you know? But Joe, he ends up dying from self-doubt. Oh, ouch. And so where he like infects Sulu and Riley in like this fight in the like in the rec room, I guess it is, or the cafeteria, right?
Yeah.
And it's just like and then it's all these other people around the room. I don't know if anyone noticed. Did not help.
No, did you see that girl playing chess? Like, she looks so bored.
She was over it.
Like,
she was over it before it started.
She was like this at the table. Like, I don't know
That
if
was
you
me
remember.
when I was watching this episode.
Oh yeah, he pulls this butter knife on him, like this
Yeah,
from
the
like
butter
Eric.
can do so much damage. Yeah, I thought that was funny too.
Yeah, he's like, don't do it. Yeah, Riley and Sulu trying to talk him down. Yeah, it was especially the struggle over the knife. And then I'm like, why isn't anyone else helping? There was a lot of these moments where like people would sometimes come out of nowhere and like pull up Sulu after he was knocked out or whatever, but they weren't in the fight. Some of the action direction, maybe a little bit interesting at times. And then after this fight, during the fight, he ends up hurting himself, wounding himself, but McCoy can't save him in the whole surgery scene, right? Like he's like, he shouldn't be dying, and it drags on a little bit. Maybe that scene, with you're watching like the life sign monitor, and you're seeing like those monitor scales like slowly drop off as good old Joey. He's on
Every
his way
scene
out.
with this jackass that's on my screen right now, every scene with that jackass is terrible.
Riley?
Yes, Riley is garbage.
Well, you know
Like,
what?
how could he even be in Starfleet?
Well, he's an Irishman.
Riley's
So?
been in several episodes.
Yeah, I know he has. Yeah.
At least one other. Was he the guy who got his milk poisoned?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, he had
He
it
was on
coming,
that-
I think.
Yeah.
He was
Riley's
the guy-
terrible.
He was
Drinking.
the guy as well on. Wasn't he on that when they went on that planet that was like a, with the bunny and everything?
Oh, on the
Yeah.
shore leave?
Shortly.
Yeah.
Shore leave, yeah.
Yeah, here, I must have a picture of good old Riley here, right?
Do we really need one?
Oh, he's a classic. Yeah, we do. Yeah, so Riley, he's
like the monkeys version
I've-
of Star Trek.
he's like he's a precursor to Chekhov, perhaps. He's supposed to be the one. He goes, "Have no fear, O'Reilly's here." So he's one Irishman is worth 10,000 of you.
Okay.
Then he starts saying things like, "Yeah, that's what I like. Let the women work too. Universal suffrage."
It was good. I didn't know Uhura could work the helm. Or Janice Rand.
Right. Yeah, they all had to jump in it. Okay, at one point there was like it was a blue shirt and a red shirt who were at the navigation and the pilot station, and I was like, I've never seen that before. It's usually always a gold shirt at one of those.
Everybody was getting involved.
They were dropping like flies, going out, having their little moments. We didn't see too many sad drunks. You think if this was affecting like alcohol, you'd see more sad drunks.
It's kind of amazing. Is like when you watch like
Spock was the sad drunk.
Spock and Joe.
Spock was a sad drunk, but
Mhm.
they tell these guys, okay, act drunk, and then you go, huh? Were they ever drunk? Like, or did they ever see like MASH? When they were always like, on the clock, and they had to slur their words and all that stuff. I just find it funny how that's portrayed in shows back then.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It was and then like the whole thing where he goes to sick bay, And the security, they go, security, make sure he gets sick bay. We never see security anywhere around Riley. But when he gets to sick bay, Chapel is not even expecting him. And neither is McCoy. There's like no one, like Riley ends up leaving after he infects Chapel, like without any recourse. I'm like, well, then don't they have a few doctors? There was no doctors. No, I think this is badly run.
I think that you made a good point there too, because with all of that 400 people on that ship, we only saw a handful. I think it would have been very interesting if they had like total chaos in the hallways. Guys or crew people going in and out of rooms, sleeping with each other. It would have been great. And they kind of did that with the next gen version, by the way.
I don't know how though when Riley got drunk and all of a sudden he decided to try to take over the ship and crash it. What's that?
The next gen version's even worse than this episode.
Oh, it's completely.
It's just a complete rip off, right?
Yeah. Well, it's supposed to be. It's the exact same thing. Like it's supposed to be. It's
it was running
into the same thing again.
It was like the one exception in next gen where they actually like pulled, like just basically pulled the whole thing into their episode that I can think of. Like,
well, it's supposed to be a continuation of the virus, right? Like it's the contagion,
right? And then it was like, oh yeah, they figured out how to cure this. Like they found the antidote for this like 100 years ago.
Turns out it's water of some sort.
Yeah. Right. And then so Riley, when he goes to sick bay and he affects Chapel, and she goes, "Yeah, I know. Sorry, Joe died. He was a friend of yours. Must be a terrible shock." He goes, "You know what his mistake was? He wasn't born an Irishman."
Yeah,
that was a good one. Oh, poor Joe. Yeah. It was. And then this whole thing about why Sulu was a swashbuckler, it didn't make any sense. How he seemed like he could have killed somebody, but why this was like a suppressed personality, because when Spock eventually gives the exposition on the whole virus and why it affects people, he goes, yeah, well, there was Joe and he had a propensity for self-doubt, and so he was the other sad drunk along with Spock. Right. But Riley and Sulu, why does Sulu become like, I don't know, is he like secretly wants to be a swashbuckler? He wants to be
the other one. Sulu, he has an infatuation with swords.
So swords, yeah. And that was something they built into like when they did like the Chris Pine, like the J.J. Abrams version.
Remember when Sulu was looking out into space and he was going towards all the swords?
Oh, the swords were coming out. Dagger of the Mind.
Yeah, that one, yeah.
That's a better episode than this one.
This one builds Jody. This is all about building the tension.
This is a sandwich. The front of it sucks. The back of it sucks. There's a little tiny piece in the middle that ain't too bad, but the bread is terrible.
What's in the part that's good? What's in that little part?
There's some Nurse Chapel stuff that isn't too bad.
You like the Nurse Chapel stuff? That was like my least favorite stuff.
Well, you know what? It's funny that you should mention this because I was reading an actual online review, and this is just a one-line review this guy gave it. Character storylines jerky, acting bad, O'Reilly singing, Spock crying, awful. That's all it says.
Did you read this review?
I kind of got this.
I didn't mind Nurse Chapel in this episode. I found her.
I didn't mind her.
Yeah, she was
rare.
Why did McCoy have to rip Kirk's shirt to give him that antidote?
So that way,
they just put it right through.
I think he's contractually obligated to show his pecs once in a while.
Yeah, he's the hero, man. You gotta get.
Hey, speaking of coming back to uniforms again, did we ever see an episode where they took off their tunics and had their black t-shirt?
No, that scene, in the sick bay near the beginning, after they come back. Spock. Yeah, no, I did. And you actually see like Spock, he's pulling over the shirt, right?
Yeah.
Over his t-shirt, but they wouldn't. That's actually like a bit of a trick because they wouldn't actually put that shirt on because there's actually a hidden zipper in like the side here. For that's when they're doing the makeup, they don't mess it up, right? So that was but to kind of give you like this sense of like that the space, I think it was like to show how the space age fabric would like be more form fitting once you put it on. You know what I mean? Like they did this in TNG as well and stuff. Like they would create like fake zippers and stuff when they would do whatever. But yeah, I thought that the whole black undergarment thing was noteworthy.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
In a movie.
Then there was the whole Riley takeover.
Oh, Riley sucks.
I was over his song.
I don't understand how one guy can take over engineering. Like, isn't there people working down there?
This is something that I've said over and over and over again. The security on this ship is terrible. Everybody can get in everywhere, which makes no sense at all.
It's just 10 people working on the ship.
I got a theory. Okay, this is early, right? This is
Sulu. Looking pretty.
This is only like episode 6 or 4, right? Like maybe this is like Kirk's just like taken over as captain recently. It's not like he doesn't have the run of the place yet, you know. Pike, maybe he didn't run as tight of a ship. Pike, you know, he inherited a mess. Kirk, and he's got.
That was a very funny scene where Sulu he hit himself with it, and
No, George Takei, this is maybe his greatest moment here at all of Star Trek.
He looks great. Like he's definitely ripped.
One of them, that's for sure. Yeah, see, this part's good.
Yeah, he's D'Artagnan.
It probably took him weeks to wax his body to get that look.
I would watch a solid 30 minutes of just this instead of this entire episode.
And where was he going? Up the ladder.
It doesn't matter. He's got a sword in one hand and he's crawling up a goddamn ladder. That's amazing. Good for him.
Mm-hmm. Going to the bridge.
Yeah. Okay. And so when Riley took over engineering, like Scotty explains, like they're like, how did it happen? He's like, he told us all to like run out of the room, and then we did, and then he locked the door.
Yeah.
That was how he did it.
Oh man.
He said, "Oh, the captain needs you, everybody out." And
I think people actually got way stupider in the 23rd century.
Yeah, it was pretty.
Did we lose Dave? He's not moving for me anymore.
Yeah.
All right, so let's sum this up. Terrible show. Waiting for Dave. Internet.
Later, you're out.
Did we lose Adam as well, or is he just really calm? Oh, he's really calm. Okay, he's moving.
There's nothing really to say.
You were literally like just like this, though.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to find something really good. I just watched this episode like before the show, and
me too. The second time, I fell asleep the first time, so I had to do it again.
Oh God, okay.
Oh, Dave's coming back. I can tell. He's coming. Oh, there's more Sulu. Look at that. See, now this is a good action shot right here.
Yeah, I like on the bridge.
Sulu's kind of nuts, and he's going after everybody on the bridge. Look at Kirk. Kirk is like generally concerned, and Uhura's kind of like, ooh, he's not bad, you know. Look at her. She's even got a great little smile on her. She's just like, oh, look at him.
Take me away.
Yeah.
Oh,
now she's claiming she didn't want me either. Yeah,
and then Spock in with his little nerve pinch, and then Kirk goes, "You got to teach me how to do that."
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
I got a better idea. Have better fucking security. Like,
get him off my bridge.
It can't be that hard. How many
had a head of security? Did they have a head of security in
shows? They do.
Other shows they do. Every other show does.
Yeah.
Yeah. So why was there never a head of security in this one? I don't know.
Was there a security guy in Enterprise? I don't think there was.
Yeah. Hey,
you back?
Dave's back, and now he's frozen again.
Am I?
Nope, he's back.
You're sketchy.
Yeah, kind of sketchy.
I wanted to ask you guys something too. When Kirk was doing his log entry, he said something like, "What we don't know is a disease has entered the ship." And I'm going.
Yeah, he was almost speaking in the after the fact tense.
Yeah, I didn't understand that.
But
Yeah, that was a
he
little weird.
Maybe, Adam, he was speaking in those 3 days that they went back in time and came back. And so
Okay,
in essence,
that's the worst part of this episode. What the heck was that for?
it's the only way they could
Going
get
back in
the
time?
engine started.
Going
Why
back
didn't
in.
they yeah, they went back in
Why?
time.
Why the whole thing where they could go back in time now?
Well, like,
That's
it had
the second
nothing to do
time
with
they've
the
gone back
episode.
in time.
It was so they can go to Gary 7 anytime they want, like, and do that whole thing.
Go see Gary 7.
Well, then it's
Yeah.
good, isn't it?
It was setting that
Yeah,
up.
I like that.
This is a prequel to that
Yeah.
one. They just earned a point. Yeah. Where we're sorry, I dropped off there, but
we're just done with this episode. I think. I don't know. It's not a good episode. I'm sorry. Like, it's hard to talk about it.
I'm not so down on it.
It's
yeah,
not
but the
the
whole
worst
time.
Star Trek episode by far, but there's just
Well,
so
you know,
much
maybe there's some.
better.
Maybe there's some things we don't know about it that would help us like it more. Maybe some fun facts.
Okay, hold on. Before you get there was some other good stuff too. I mean, even the weepy Spock or the crying Spock, it was interesting though, because that's the first time you saw his like battle with him, his human side, and I can't function with my emotions.
We're 5 episodes in. It doesn't matter.
What do you mean?
Like, he's barely a character at this point.
Yeah, but he's got to break through with this sometime.
I guess, but when you said for the last 4 episodes that he has no emotion, and then that shows up, it seems kind of off.
But I think it really does show the struggle that he's under, right? And if he doesn't have the control, he's useless.
Okay, I'll give you that.
Yeah. So that was.
I agree. It feels a little early, but then at the same time, it's setting up a lot of backstory. But like, I feel like also when I think about like Star Trek Discovery, especially the early seasons, and even like the 2009 J.J. Abrams movie, which was written by Kurtzman or co-written by Alex Kurtzman, who's now the new head of Star Trek. I feel like there were certain episodes of the original series, this being one of them, Amok Time, Journey to Babel, a lot of the Spock-centric episodes, especially, were huge inspirations for those particular projects. The whole Michael Burnham being the adopted sister of Spock, I think, was because they're like Leonard Nimoy in 1966 was giving like these really tortured performances on primetime television and sort of what was like an hour-long family drama sort
of. And then they made it into a garbage arc in Discovery.
Well, the success, that I will. Yeah, we don't have to lament on.
They redeemed themselves in the last season.
They did.
I don't know why they were that close to a planet that was supposedly going to explode.
Right? Don't you feel like the tension's building because the thing's disintegrating? Their idiot O'Reilly Irish king man, he screwed them. He even turned off the engines. When they get in there, like, he turned them off. I can need 30 minutes to reboot the whole system, and we're gonna crash in 12.
Yeah.
And this is after he was singing his heart's content. Who was that girl he was singing about?
Why does O'Reilly have the ability to do this?
He's a dick. That's how.
Especially when he's drunk out of his mind. How is he doing this?
But even Jody, how they need to break into the engine room by cutting through the wall, like, just take down the door.
There you go. Yeah. There's just so much extra shit in this episode to drag it out. This is literally 20 minutes worth of content that went into a 50-minute program. It's so slow.
Oh, yeah. It looks
just
like
so
a map
silly.
of Texas.
Yes, I was going to say, Ted, somebody drew
Texas.
Texas.
The whole Texas thing I didn't get either.
Yeah, it looked like the size of Texas. And then, like, Spock's yelling at Scotty at one point, like, hurry up. And he's like, I got to be safe. Or he's like, you're going too slow. Hurry up. And as the audience, you're like, yeah, hurry up. Like, get on with it. We don't want to hear him sing the song.
He's literally etching into a panel that could perhaps have something deadly in it. Like, you don't want this guy to go off on it. That's the impression I got, anyway.
Well, no, that's what Scotty says. But he's like, it doesn't matter. We're going to be dead anyway if we don't get through this door.
Here's the harassment scene. I like this scene.
I was gonna say
the sexual harassment scene that they had to add in for no.
Well, that's what happens when
reason at
you're
all.
drunk. You just get in women's way and you sing them Italian love songs until
When
they marry
I'm
you.
drunk, I get hungry and I pass out eventually. I don't go sexual, fucking trying to like sexually extort women. But I guess everybody's different.
But then it's like that like classic. I'm a sailor. I'm like la la la, or whatever. Like just somebody who's gonna like catcall at a woman. But
and what is the point of even having security on this goddamn ship? No one ever uses it effectively.
It's a cupcake. This version.
The easiest job you could ever have on the ship is being security, because every week somebody gets into the engine room or somebody gets on the bridge
until you get assigned to that away team, and then you're dead.
Well, the away team, I think, is punishment for letting them in.
That's why they're like, we
That's
don't
probably
care.
what happens. That's the reason why the red shirts get killed.
We're expendable. We're the expendables. We're gonna be we have a 25% chance life expectancy of actually surviving this 5-year mission.
Every other military installation, the expendable ones are usually the biggest badasses, like the Marines, for instance. They're the first in, right? That type of thing. You have those guys in, and those guys are badass. They're not like some little whiny little nuggets that do literally nothing and just sit there. Like this guy literally takes over. He has the full grasp of this ship, and no one can stop him for some damn reason, and I don't get it. I just don't get it.
Well, they can do it. They get through, but it's a huge pain, right? Like, I think maybe after that they needed to install.
How many goddamn times does this ship need to be taken over by somebody before they realize they should have security of some sort?
It's like a Star Trek classic. The ship gets taken over by an enemy.
Well, and it happens in every series, right? Like it happens in usually there's an outside body for it though. Like, in like Next Gen, for instance, when the ship was taken over, it was usually like, for instance, they were doing that scan and Picard was the only one left on the ship, that type of thing, where they could take it over that way. Right. But this one, it's literally like you walk in the engine room, you tell everybody to get out, and they all get out for some strange reason. And then you can take over. It's amazing. So
it was like, maybe we need to change our security protocols from now on. Maybe we need a code word or something else, or just don't take my word for it all the time.
Anyway,
was there anything else we missed or skipped over?
I think the time travel thing is about the only thing left.
Like I said, they're setting up Gary 7, because that's what makes we watched this episode after that. But when they were like, we're just back in 1968 on a routine time travel episode thing, and that's kind of what this episode leaves us at the end saying, like, well, now we accidentally invented time travel. Whoops. I guess we can do that now.
So is this the first time that we see Nurse Chapel's kind of feelings for Spock? Is this the first episode?
I think in terms of like chronological, yes. Like it's not in terms of our podcast, we've watched all these other episodes where Spock and Chapel were flirting in some way or another. But this that's what also it kind of struck me as odd was that they were it was so deep. This like not even that Spock had this whole I don't want to call it, I guess it's a monologue he had in the briefing room, but this whole thing with Chapel was something else. But it was interesting that like the Alex Kurtzmans and those guys, like they didn't pick up on that. Instead, they made it the Spock Uhura romance when they
which is terrible.
Because Chapel's not a character that they ended up using in those movies. Chapel's popularity is sort of, I don't know.
That's literally the only thing I don't like about the Kurtzman first Star Trek movie is the whole Uhura Spock thing. Everything else is good. I didn't like it.
Would you? Oh, so you're holding a torch for Chapel?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but in those movies, Kirk gets Chapel, but he was like a fling.
That's true. Yeah.
One night stand.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Until Carol Marcus comes along. She's like, ma'am, I'm friends with Christine Chapel. She told me about you, Kirk. But I'm still going to hook up with you. Okay.
We're talking about things that are more interesting than this as an episode.
Well, but related. Okay. Well, hey, what's fun? Who's got some fun facts?
Well, I guess I have some fun facts.
Okay, let's get fun with Jody.
I got to put the old man glasses on now. Uhura's response to Sulu calling her a fair maiden, sorry, neither, was an ad-lib by Nichelle Nichols. So apparently when she said that, it was totally ad-libbed.
What'd she say? I'm not a maiden?
Yeah. No, she said fair maiden. And he said fair maiden. He called her fair maiden, and she said, sorry, neither. Fair nor maiden. Which is pretty funny, I think. This is the first episode in broadcast order to feature the Vulcan nerve pinch.
Yeah, they used it on Sulu.
Mm-hmm.
Breaking news.
But it was after Kirk punched him. So it felt like a little bit overkill.
Yeah, Kirk still wanted to know how to do it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, you got to teach me that someday, he says. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good line.
This is the only original series episode in which 3 primary female crew members, Uhura, Chapel, and Rand, appear together. The characters did not appear together again until Star Trek The Motion Picture in 1979.
Yeah, Rand's one of the only ones not in the photo behind Dad, but on the other hand,
Yeah.
Chekhov's there too. So because Chekhov and Rand were never on the show at the same time, I don't think.
Oh, true.
So the bowling alley mentioned by Lieutenant Riley was never seen on any show, but did show up on the U.S. Enterprise blueprints issued in the 1970s. So there is a bowling alley on the ship. We just never see it. Good
On
to
the like, it feels like I guess there is room for it on, but it would be amazing to see some of these other things. We got to see the dojo in one episode.
That's true. Yeah, there was a dojo.
Yeah.
What's a dojo?
Yeah, but the Enterprise D even had an arboretum, which we kind of got to see, but not
The Enterprise D had an area with dolphins.
Dolphins and like you see the schematics and like there's like
Yeah.
pools and
There's pools
kinds
with
of
dolphins and everything. Yeah. Anyway, back to
There
this.
was a holodeck, wasn't there?
Yes,
Yeah,
there
3
was
of
a
them.
holodeck. Yeah, 3 of them. Yeah. McCoy tears the sleeve on Kirk's uniform to inject him with the hypo, but this seems to have been done for dramatic effect only, as in subsequent episodes, the hypo shot is delivered through clothing.
He did it just because McCoy felt like it. He did it because
That's
it
right.
was.
He just did it
He's
'cause
like,
he wanted to rip it off.
I want to remember this. Boom.
Star Trek The Next Generation's The Naked Now, which is from 1987, is largely based on this episode. The 2 episodes share similar plot lines, and the TNG episode includes many scenes and images in which directly inspired by this episode. This was the first and only time an episode of the original series was remade outright by TNG. The events of this episode were also referenced in the Star Trek Next Generation episode's Relics, which is the one where Scotty's in the Dyson Sphere.
He's like, I told the captain I cannot change the laws of physics.
Yeah. All right. Leonard Nimoy stated that the idea for the naked time came about when he started crying for no reason during a conference with the writers. Okay.
Right?
I don't see how you went from there to there, but all right.
He's like, he must he realized he had like some kind of depression or something.
Anybody know why that is? It's called the naked time. Why is that?
I don't know. Let's find out.
Well, that might be part of the fun facts. We'll see.
Where did that come from?
The first appearance in the series of Nurse Christine Chapel, played by Gene Roddenberry's then mistress and future wife, Majel Barrett. I like how they actually had to put mistress and then wife. All right. This episode is considered a bottle show, as it contains no villain and only regular characters, and takes place almost entirely aboard the Enterprise. According to John D.F. Black, at the time, both Riley and Tormelin were under consideration to become regulars. Oh, thank God. Anyway.
Joe Tormelin?
Both of them were supposed to be regulars. Yeah.
Well, they're probably what the problem was.
George Takei.
They weren't born Irishmen.
Yeah. George Takei had great fun acting in this episode and took his fencing very seriously, avidly practicing his technique on the set and working out to define his chest muscles for his memorable scene in the corridor. So he even worked out for those, man. This was intended to be a 2-parter, but the idea was dropped. What would have been the second half of the story became Star Trek The Original Series, Tomorrow is Yesterday. So that was supposed to be the second half of this episode.
What happened in Tomorrow is Yesterday? We watched that one already.
Isn't that the Nazi one?
No.
No.
No. Is that the Gary Seven one? No.
No, I don't think so.
No, it's the one with the Air Force captain.
Yeah, the other
Oh,
one.
That's the Air Force one. Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's
that
the
would
other one. They went back in time.
right. Well, that would make sense that would be part 2,
I guess.
right? Because we were just saying, well, like, hey, they went 3 days in the past. What was the point of that? But if they had ended up back, okay, now it's part 2. It would have been a lot like that Enterprise finale in season 3, where like the Xindi plot line wrapped up, and then it was all with that whole temporal Cold War again, and then that Cool were there, right? And like, it's like, okay, now we're in a whole new story that's completely unrated, but it's all like, Doctor Who would do that a lot of times with like the new stories, a cliffhanger from the last story.
All right. I have nothing to say to that. The lighted panels in sickbay and engineering did not contain any lights that moved in patterns. Rather, stagehands manipulated objects behind the panels to make it look as if the lights were shifting about. In The Naked Time and in other episodes, you can see this money-saving trick in action, especially in close-ups or in rooms where the sets were very well lit. It's true, I actually did notice that. You can kind of see it's like layered. So the first layer has like a thing through it, and then the next layer does this to make it flash.
It I thought that it's a season 1 episode, and the lighting reminded me a lot of the Balance of Terror, actually.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, for sure. In this episode and Star Trek: The Original Series, Charlie X, the Jeffries tube is located in a spur hallway. In the second season, the set piece has been moved to the main corridor. I guess they had to relocate it.
Well, that happens. It's modular.
The close-up of Kirk in his chair at the beginning of Act 1 is a recycled shot from the last scene of the original series, The Man Trap. It can also be seen in the original series, Mud's Women. All three of them use that same clip. This episode also features the first reference in Star Trek to the term bulkhead.
The bulkhead. Is that that's not like a naval term? That's like a Star Trek term?
Well, I think it is a naval term, but it's the first time it was referenced in Star Trek, I guess. Okay, the late script revision came during post-production as the episode needed an additional captain's log entry. Good to know. This is actually, supplemental, I guess, yeah. During the rec room scene, Joe Tormlin tells Sulu, quote, "You don't rank me and you don't have pointed ears." Sulu does, in fact, rank him.
Rank him.
He and Riley hold the rank of lieutenant, where Tormlin is a lieutenant junior grade.
Junior grade.
Tormlin's tunic with a single broken line of the braid in the sleeve is the only example of a lieutenant junior grade rank in the original series.
Yeah, I was like, it's the only time, but it's right there. Yeah, normally we only see the full braid. Everyone's a full lieutenant.
Hey, quite honestly, there ain't much else worth even talking about.
But you never found out why it's called The Naked Time.
There is nothing that tells me this now. I'm gonna look that up though while you talk. How's that?
Okay. Find out if there's a reason. Is it just because they thought? Okay, I don't know what else to say, but let's get to ratings. While you look that up, okay. How much do we like it, Dad? Why don't you start us off?
5.9.
Oh, Ted.
Whew.
Ted is like losing faith here.
I can't give it too much.
I'm gonna give it like an 8.5.
I did like Nurse Chapel's acting tonight. I liked Spock's storyline. I liked Sulu. I didn't like the beginning or the end, which is pretty damn big. So I'm going to give it a 6.
Well, it's not much different to me, Adam.
I know. But Ted, you're usually a little more happy with you.
I'm usually the more optimistic here.
Well, yeah, comparing your averages, Dad's slightly usually a little bit higher, but yeah. And Jody,
I would normally give this a 5, but because of Nurse Chapel, I'm going to add an extra 5 to it, so I'm going to give it a 5.5.
5.5. Okay, not too far off. Okay, this averages a 6.5 for the 4 of us, and it's a 7.9 on IMDb. So
which just goes to show you people have no idea what they're talking about.
Or they do, or I'm maybe.
Or you have no idea. One or the other.
Yeah,
One of the two,
somebody's rated somebody's, yeah. But,
It's true.
Um,
One of those two.
this
one
Mark
of those
Daniels
two.
directed John D.F. Black's story, and it's from September of 1966. I think this is an ensemble piece, but with maybe a bit of a Spock breakout. More Riley. Okay, so what are we going to next?
I don't know.
Pick one.
I can't seem to find the answer as to why it's called The Naked
Yeah, I
Man.
couldn't either, Jody. I was looking too.
Yeah. Who's picking?
I don't know.
Well,
The Empath.
sure. We got to watch them.
Yeah,
We're gonna watch them all eventually.
Let's watch The Empath. Okay, so this is season 3, episode 8. If you're going by production order.
Oh boy.
I gotta look up the episode because I don't remember it.
And do you have a synopsis there?
In this episode, while visiting a doomed planet, the landing party is subjected to torturous experiments by powerful aliens.
Ooh, I like that.
That happens all the time.
So basically, oh, I remember this now. Just from the picture of one of the aliens. Okay.
Let me take a quick look if I know it.
There's actually a better description here. Okay, the crew of the Enterprise unwittingly lands on a planet of horrors when they go in search of a scientific mission scheduled for evacuation. A race of merciless aliens use Kirk and his colleagues as guinea pigs in their antagonizing experiments into the human aptitude of self-sacrifice. The real victim, though, is an empath, a woman with the ability to absorb other people's pain. There you go. I even said it like a trailer. In a grim world where empaths get shit on.
They'll be tortured in the dark.
They'll be tortured by aliens. This
Okay.
summer. The empath.
You got like that epic movie voice.
There you go.
Okay, so okay, what else do we got going on? Let's get to it. So here on Live Long and Podcast on Tuesday nights, we talk about Star Trek Deep Space Nine, watching every episode in order onto season 3. We're going into the 2-parter Improbable Cause next week. That's the one where the Cardassians and the Romulans team up to go attack the Dominion. Spoilers, it doesn't go well for them.
No, it does not.
Before you go on here, can we just talk? So next, Deep Space Nine, when they went back to the Enterprise, whatever episode that was, right?
Yeah, the Trials and Tribulations, yeah.
Right.
Trials and Tribulations.
Remember all the people walking around the Enterprise?
Yeah.
It was like hundreds of them.
There's 450 people on the ship.
Yeah. Where the heck are they in the original series?
Well, they didn't have the
bowling alley.
budget for that back then.
They're
They're all at the
alley.
bowling alley during normal times.
The bowl.
Like, let's be honest here, guys. If you work on a ship,
for free today.
if you work on a ship and there's a huge bowling alley on it, you're gonna go to the bowling alley. Like, why not?
True. Yeah. I'm always at the bowling alley.
It's just like on the Enterprise D. They got a pool with dolphins. I'm gonna go there. Why wouldn't you? And the holodeck, you know they got to clean that a lot.
Okay, the holodeck. Well, I'd be doing stuff.
They got to clean that a lot. I wonder if that fucker's self-cleaning.
Sorry, Dave. Didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, it's all good. Where was I? But D Space Nine at 9-ish. Check us out next Tuesday night. Jaemeel, Robinson, Jeff, the Millards are on their way right now. But I just got a text that Ashley's doing much better. So so good news there. We lose Dad. Okay.
He's just like, fuck it, I'm done.
I'm done. Are you not done plugging your shows yet? I got a game.
Yeah, I got things to do, Dave.
Yeah, I got things going on. I know what you do. Anyway, so then on Star Trek Radio Theater, we're taking a week off, but we just did Deep Space Nine's Fascination. Check that out. The live versions on YouTube and Facebook are up there we're going to be doing the edited versions in the coming weeks. I got 3 in the can. I still have to edit. I haven't edited the one you were on, Jody, when you were playing Q, or the one with Adam was on more recently playing Jake Sisko and Dax. But we also have
Jake Sisko.
Yes, we'll be back with Star Trek Radio Theater.
I just played my 17-year-old kids, and
Oh, okay, well that'll do it.
Yeah, she was like, I'll just be. This is my daughter. This is my son.
Look at that. We couldn't even talk as long as the episode went.
So always got extra 10 minutes. And then we also have our other channel called Live Long. Sorry, not Live Long. Trivial Debates. I'm sorry, I was completely backwards there. That's it. We're on Live Long in podcast. Our other podcast, Trivial Debates, coming up in just a few weeks, June 27th. We're going to be having Adam Woodward hosting for the first time, along with Jody Simpson competing, and
Who's
we got
Mike O'Connor.
Michael Connor, he's been on the Star Trek Discovery podcast a couple times in season 3, along with he's a buddy of Adams.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Oh, okay. I've never met him.
No,
I don't think.
Yeah, and we got good old Chris Seymour coming back after a 2-month hiatus. He's learned from the masters. He said,
Can we not get a better picture of him?
He said he looked great. I said, "Is this good?" He goes, "I look amazing." So he's what could be better?
Well, I'm not on screen right now, but I was doing the impression. I was doing that.
You should take that picture from the golf you took him. We looked so intense.
Oh yeah. Everyone was
Eye of the tiger. Eye of the tiger.
Yeah, where he just had like the putter. He's like,
so he messages me. I forgot to say, he messages me. He's like,
"Yeah,
I bought golf clubs." I'm like, "Yeah, I knew you."
Yeah. He told me too. Yeah, from PJ Folsom.
Wow, he looked. After
we bought a pair of used ones.
After one round, okay. He's like, "This is the best sport ever. It doesn't matter." He was kind of getting along. I could just hack it up the course.
For a guy who likes to drink,
I can drink. Yeah, I can
for
smoke.
a guy who likes to drink and drive golf carts and stuff like that, like why wouldn't he like golf?
Yeah, and he was just like, he was good. He was having a day.
He seemed to enjoy it.
It's your second golf game that sucks, though. You know, it's the second time.
Yeah. Now he'll have expectations for himself, and that's when it will all fall.
That's
apart.
how boring this episode is. We're talking about golf now.
Talking about Chris,
and the trivial debates that's coming up, and then Super Mario Brothers podcasting. Not doing anything right now, but we've done the MCU stuff more recently. We did WandaVision. We talked about Falcon and the Winter Soldier. We also have done Netflix's like The Serpent and Tiger King, plus Big Brother Canada 9, and we're gonna be doing Big Brother USA 23 starting July 7th. When this podcast will have to go probably back to 7 p.m. or another time, because Wednesdays will be filled. But we only have 18 left, guys, here on the original series.
And then it's going to be a long road getting from there to here.
Yes, and then on to Enterprise, back into the 21st century? No, the 22nd century.
22nd, yeah.
Anyway, Dad just texted to say it was his internet connection. He didn't flake out on us. He
lies, but anyway, that's fine.
Yeah. Was there? Dad, we know you're out there. Happy Father's Day weekend to the dads, along to you as well, Dad.
Yes, all of us are.
All of us, actually. Happy Us Day coming up this weekend. Thanks for joining us for this podcast to cover the Naked Time and for TED Trek Wednesdays. For all of us, I'm Dave Mader, and thanks.